Aesop's Fable EP94, The Rabbit Who Calculated Time Management. Scene 1, The Busy Rabbit's Task. In a peaceful meadow surrounded by tall trees and colorful flowers, there lived a diligent rabbit named Robbie. Robbie loved to tend to his vegetable garden, where he grew the juiciest carrots in the entire meadow. One sunny morning, Robbie realized that he needed to harvest all the carrots in his garden before the sun set. However, the garden was large, and Robbie wasn't sure if he could finish the job in time. As Robbie looked at the rows of carrots, he began to wonder, how can I make sure I finish harvesting all these carrots before the end of the day? I need to figure out how much time I have and how quickly I need to work. Robbie decided that he would need to calculate the time it would take to gather all the carrots and create a plan to manage his time efficiently. Scene 2, Calculating the time needed. Robbie knew that the sun would set in 10 hours, and he had to make sure all the carrots were harvested by then. He started by estimating how long it took him to pull up one row of carrots. He measured his work rate and found that he could harvest one row of carrots in 30 minutes. Robbie counted the rows in his garden and found that there were 20 rows in total. He quickly calculated the total time needed to harvest all the carrots. Time per row, 30 minutes. Total rows, 20 rows. Total time, 30 minutes times 20 rows equals 600 minutes, or 10 hours. Robbie realized that if he worked non-stop, he would just barely finish the job before the sun set. But Robbie also knew he would need breaks to rest and eat, so he needed to adjust his plan to make sure he could complete the task in time. Scene 3, Managing Time Effectively. Robbie decided to break his work into manageable segments with short breaks in between. He planned to work for 2 hours, then take a 15-minute break, and repeat this pattern until the job was done. He calculated the time needed for each segment. Work segment, 2 hours, 4 rows of carrots. Break, 15 minutes. After working for 2 hours and harvesting 4 rows, Robbie would take a 15-minute break to rest. He calculated how many segments he would need to finish all the rows. Total rows, 20. Rows per segment, 4. Number of segments, 20 rows divided by 4 rows per segment equals 5 segments. He also calculated the total time including breaks. Total work time, 10 hours. Total break time, 15 minutes times 5 breaks equals 75 minutes, or 1 hour 15 minutes. Robbie realized he needed 11 hours and 15 minutes to complete the task with breaks, but he only had 10 hours until sunset. So, he decided to shorten his breaks to 10 minutes each. Recalculating with shorter breaks. Total break time, 10 minutes times 5 breaks equals 50 minutes. This reduced the total time needed to 10 hours and 50 minutes, which was still too long. Finally, Robbie decided to shorten his breaks to 5 minutes each. Total break time, 5 minutes times 5 breaks equals 25 minutes. Now, the total time needed was 10 hours and 25 minutes. Robbie knew he could speed up slightly during his work to make up for the extra 25 minutes. Scene 4, A Job Well Done. With his time management plan in place, Robbie set to work. He worked steadily, taking short breaks as planned, and made sure to stay on schedule. As the day went on, Robbie felt confident, knowing that he was making progress and would finish on time. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, Robbie pulled up the last row of carrots. He had completed the task just as he had planned, with a few minutes to spare. Robbie felt proud of himself for calculating his time so carefully and working efficiently. That evening, as Robbie relaxed with a basket full of fresh carrots, his friends in the meadow came to visit. They were amazed at how Robbie had managed to harvest his entire garden in just one day. "How did you do it, Robbie?" asked his friend Benny the rabbit. "I calculated the time I needed and made a plan to manage my work efficiently," Robbie explained. "By breaking the task into smaller parts and taking short breaks, I was able to finish the job on time." Benny and the other animals were impressed with Robbie's time management skills and decided to use his method for their own tasks in the future. Moral of the story: managing time effectively requires careful calculation and planning. By breaking tasks into smaller parts and setting a schedule, we can complete our work efficiently and on time.